Attention passionate Green Bay Packers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Green Bay Packers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Green Bay Packers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Green Bay Packers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. I have to tell you, there's a buzz going around the NFL that's shaking things up in the NFC North, and it's all centered around the Green Bay Packers and a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape how this division looks for years to come. We're talking about a move that involves Jalen Phillips, the talented edge rusher from Miami, heading to Lambeau Field, and it's not just a rumor anymore. It's gaining serious traction among insiders like Adam Schefter and other NFL analysts, and if it goes through, it might be one of the most impactful moves of this offseason. So let's break down what this means, why it's happening, and how it could elevate the Packers to new heights. First, let's talk about Phillips himself. Drafted in 2021 by the Miami Dolphins, this guy has been making waves ever since he set foot in the NFL. His breakout season in 2022 truly put him on the map, with 11 sacks, placing him among the top 15 edge rushers in the league, along with 12 tackles for loss, a plus +0.17 EPA per snap, which is elite, and an overall PFF grade of 85.3, ranking him just outside the top 10 among edge defenders. His hurry rate is impressive at 14%, and he's constantly pressuring quarterbacks, with pressures totaling 75 in just 5 games this season, and a sack in Week 3 against the Bills that really showcased his explosiveness. When you look at his career stats, 35 sacks and 50 tackles for loss, it's clear he's a disruptive force, capable of turning games on their heads. His bend arc win rate is about 60%, and his EPA versus the run is negative, meaning he's effective against the run as well. If you compare him to some of the best edge rushers in the league, like Joey Bosa at his peak, Phillips is right there in terms of speed, burst, and ability to influence the game. Now, why would the Dolphins be willing to part with such a player? Well, Miami is in a bit of a transitional phase. With a 2-3 record and a cap situation that allows for some flexibility, roughly $10 million in free space, they're looking to rebuild their offensive line, which has struggled, allowing 29 sacks in just 5 games. Tua Tagovailoa has faced some struggles, and the Dolphins are evaluating how to optimize their roster. Trading Phillips for draft assets, like a third-round pick in 2026, makes sense if they want to focus on a rebuild, especially if they're also considering moving other players like Kingsley Enagbare, a promising edge who's been on the trade block. The Dolphins, at this point, seem to be betting on a future rebuild, perhaps even tanking for better draft positioning, especially since their chances of making the playoffs are currently perceived as slim, with odds of about plus 8,000 in the AFC East. They need to develop their secondary, which ranks 26th in points allowed per game at 27, and freeing up resources to bolster their offensive line and secondary could be the smarter move long-term. But here's where it gets exciting for the Packers. Green Bay, sitting at 3-1-1, has a real gap on the edge rush, and adding Phillips right now could be a game-changer. Imagine him lining up next to Rashan Gary, who's been a force himself, with 5 sacks in 2025, and creating a formidable pass rush that could elevate the entire defense. Phillips's projection in Green Bay could be an increase of about 8 sacks per season, pushing the team's total sacks from around 14 to potentially 24 or even more. That's a huge boost, especially considering the Packers' current points allowed per game sits at about 20, ranking 12th in the league. Moving to a more aggressive pass rush, with Phillips's elite rush win rate of 20% and his pressure rate against tackles increasing by 16%, means more sacks, more forced turnovers, and ultimately more wins. And let's not forget, his ability to pressure quarterbacks like Justin Fields, who are mobile and dangerous, would give the Packers an even greater edge in the NFC North. What about the impact on the team's overall performance? Well, with Phillips, Green Bay's defense could see a significant uptick in their EPA versus the run and pass, making them even more formidable in critical situations. His presence alone could help reduce points allowed from 20 per game to closer to 16, which is a massive improvement. And that's crucial because it would support Jordan Love, who's been steadily developing as the Packers' quarterback. Love has thrown for 400 yards with 9 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions, but with an improved pass rush, he'd have more time and space to operate, boosting the team's offensive efficiency. The Packers' offense, which averages about 7 more possessions per game thanks to turnovers forced by their defense, could become even more explosive. And with a stronger pass rush, the team's ability to contain mobile quarterbacks like Fields becomes even more critical, especially in tight NFC North matchups. Speaking of the NFC North, this trade could be a game-changer in the division race. The Vikings, Lions, and Bears are all fighting for supremacy, but if the Packers can bolster their pass rush with a player like Phillips, it could tilt the scales in their favor. The division race is already tight, and adding a player of Phillips's caliber could push the Packers into the top tier of the NFC. The odds are already reflecting this shift, with Green Bay's Super Bowl odds dropping from plus 3,000 to plus 1,600, and their NFC North favorites now at plus 150. It's clear that the betting markets see this move as a serious step toward contention. Plus, Phillips's ability to boost the defense's EPA versus mobile QBs, like Justin Fields, adds another layer of strategic advantage. Fields and other dual-threat quarterbacks have been problematic for many defenses, but Phillips's speed and rush skills could be the answer. Now, let's talk about the broader implications. The Packers, after acquiring Phillips, could be viewed as serious contenders again. Their defense, which has been solid but not elite, would become a true strength, especially in a division where every win counts. The addition of Phillips, combined with Rashangary's continued dominance and Clark's 5 sacks in 2025, creates a pass rush that's as dangerous as any in the league. This, in turn, allows them to focus on other areas of the team, knowing they have a disruptive front that can change games on its own. The shift in the defensive approach would also help reduce the points allowed, giving Jordan Love and the offense more opportunities to score, and perhaps even giving the team a better chance to compete deep into January. And what about the long term? Well, if this trade goes through, it could be a sign that the Packers are serious about making a run at the Super Bowl. Their roster, already promising, gets an injection of young, elite talent that could define their defense for years to come. Plus, with the NFL landscape shifting and teams like the Dolphins possibly tanking or rebuilding, the Packers have an opportunity to capitalize on this moment, building a defense that can contend not just now, but for seasons ahead. They're positioning themselves as a team that's not just satisfied with being playoff contenders, but aiming for the ultimate prize, the Lombardi Trophy. And adding a player like Phillips is a bold statement to the rest of the league that Green Bay is back in the hunt. Before I wrap up, I want to emphasize that all of this hinges on the trade actually happening, but the signs are pointing toward a very real possibility. The Dolphins are looking to rebuild, and the Packers are in win-now mode, especially with Jordan Love's growing confidence. This move could be the spark that propels Green Bay back into title contention, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the biggest stories of this offseason. The NFC North is already competitive, but with Phillips on board, the Packers could turn the division into their playground, leaving their rivals scrambling to catch up. It's a fascinating development, and I'll be watching closely to see if this trade becomes a reality. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Green Bay Packers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And finally, folks, the outlook for the Packers just got brighter. A defense powered by Phillips, Gary, Clark, and others could be one of the league's most feared units, and it sets the stage for a deep playoff run. The odds are already reflecting this optimism, and if the trade happens, expect those Super Bowl odds to drop even further. The NFC North might be up for grabs, but with Phillips in green and gold, the Packers are making a loud statement. They're here to contend, and they're ready to fight for that championship. So, what do you think? Are you excited about this potential move? Do you believe Phillips can be the difference maker? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from all of you, and don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates on this story and everything else happening in the world of the Green Bay Packers. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come for this team.